On this episode of Shed Science.
Coming to you live! We can't be first, we can't be best. So that just leaves dirtiest. If you tell me to edit this out, I will. Button those potty mouths, gents.
Afterwards, the repeats are good on the first page. Cool. But not on the second. Okay? You go. CPM. One, two, three, four.
First two measures I think I got together.
Right.
That's
I thought you nailed it.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it, man.
Well, we'll see.
Oh.
Because
we
as
will.
they're watching this, they're listening to
Oh,
the
no.
results.
Oh, good. So I should talk all over it, basically. And then they'll hear all my little clams.
Right, like we could just record the national anthem now to just like interpose over.
Oh, perfect.
Particular
I'm
spots.
especially glad we're having this conversation while that is playing.
The nice thing about this, by the way, is that if it was like, if we were going live, like Sirius XM, we would have like a responsibility to keep the conversation going. Like Adam Carolla and Howard Stern talk about how throughout their career, like they would always have producers like in their face, like no dead air, because what a producer fears more than anything is dead air.
Except for Jonathan Schwartz's show, right?
Jonathan Schwartz, no
On
idea who
NPR?
that is.
Oh, okay.
Is that on NPR?
Yeah.
You know what? I actually do.
WNYC. On the
I actually
weekends.
do dig NPR.
Sinatra.
I do too. I never listened to it.
Are you guys hip to Alec Baldwin's show?
I haven't heard it.
I didn't know there
I
was
know
one.
of it.
It's called Here's the Thing. Chiyu actually got me into it. Alec is cool because he sort of bridges the gap between like Howard Stern and Terry Gross. Like he's like exactly the fuck between those two. Like he's just got a little bit of douchiness and a little bit of edge, but he's just hoity-toity enough for public radio, and he keeps it clean. But you just know that he could fucking lose his marbles at any second. Maybe not. He did a great interview with. We did one with James Levine, and then he did one with the brother of Lauren Moselle, who's like the executive director of the Philharmonic.
Is that Lawrence Schoenberg? Maybe?
No. To get rote for a second, to get NPR for just a sec, I'm going to give you a Terry Gross question and say, so how was your tour of Canada? Mike was touring Canada.
It was pretty good. It was a short tour. It was really just Ottawa and Toronto, and it was really fun.
Wow.
The WA, that's right. We played at the NAC National Arts Center 4th Stage in Ottawa and at the Rex in Toronto.
So you're saying those like it's no big deal. Those are probably like the most fucking baller venues in that spot, right? Like that's the equivalent of the Beacon Theater here or something, right?
I don't know.
Basically,
I don't know how
right?
to answer that. I mean, there's much better places to play in Toronto, but the Rex is probably the best club.
Word.
You know,
Yeah.
it still has sort of a 55 bar kind of feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of down home. You know, real.
I need to get
Low
get
cover.
up there. Yeah, just like all of the street gangsters in Toronto. You know, just gotta keep it street. There's always the question, like, who's the target audience? Who's the target audience? Like, and how deep down the rabbit hole do you go? Like,
Did you say who's the target
the
audience?
target audience.
Oh, well.
Fucking East Coast, dude.
Yikes.
Represent.
That's what happens with
Sorry.
first class interview seating here.
Yep. Nothing. No expense spared. I told you guys. And we were talking about how the studio is so large that we can't really find. We don't really know what to do with all of it. But you know, we'll find a way. It's really
Yeah.
echoey, boomy in here.
Yeah.
Just incidentally, Dan gets my vote for best posture in the band.
Yeah.
I was like this for. And
I t-
Really?
I
thought
take
about
that.
my mom or
I
something.
take that
and
personally,
corrected
dude. I take my
myself.
posture extremely seriously. Like, I've been working on this. Working on this for
You've been working on that slouch for a while now.
Yeah, it's over a lifetime.
So how's my upright bass helping your posture?
Oh, so I'm leaning on Dan's bass.
No.
Dan had a bass that was named Sexual Chocolate. For some reason, decided it would be a good idea to sell that bass
Oh.
and get another bass which isn't named Sexual Chocolate.
Well, there was a market for it.
Somebody bought it.
Honey, there's always
There's
a
a
market for
market.
Sexual
That's what
Chocolate.
I'm saying.
So yeah, like I've decided, like for me, it's like the only limitation to how deep I'll go down the rabbit hole is the guest. Like it's sort of like when I'm at home. I'll close the curtains, but not because I'm self-conscious. It's mainly out of consideration for the neighbors. And I won't even close them like that tight, because I figure like if you're industrious enough that you've got a telescope and like you're peering in on us, like you've earned that shit. So anyway, yes, I'll go down the rabbit hole. And the cool thing is, like, the guests, they'll just be like, "Oh, shit, like, just don't show my face."
Thank you. We survived that intact. Now we get to relax. We're gonna slow things down now for the ladies. We're gonna do another one of mine. This is called Train Scene.
But the thing is, nobody really gives a fuck about that. It's jazz musicians, and for some good reason, but I think a lot of it's bullshit, are really, really afraid to just talk about music on the air. And this is the niche for my show, because like Josh Jackson has the best fucking jazz radio show ever. There's no way to improve on what he does. He gets the best musicians, they get sterling sound, they talk about deep shit. But it's a little bit publicisty, you know, like Josh Jackson is not going to ask. You know, Josh Jackson is not.
I guess I'm not listening to that. I gotta find something else.
We can't be first. We can't be best. So that just leaves dirtiest. We have to be the dirtiest. It's like we're bringing the Opie and Anthony to jazz. It's like jazz meets Opie and Anthony. I'm sort of like a champion on this guy's behalf. Like he recorded a record last year that I thought was like, I mean, you know, I was listening to like Walter Smith and Ambrose and Glasper and Gerald Clayton, like all in the same rotation, and like I put this record up there with those guys, and it's extremely unique. It's like, you know, Mike asked me to write about it, and you know, if I had it to do over again, like I would do it for free, just because it was just such a great record, and I could not write about it. I'll just say that one of the best records of last year, and because he was trying to settle on a venue for a CD release, it delayed the CD release by months, by a long time, and that I understand the venues have a long waiting list. That's all well and fine, but I want to give a shout out to Matt Garrison and the Shapeshifter Lab. Because they came through. It's a fucking awesome space, and I think he's doing shit for exactly the right reasons. And if if you have anything you want to say about that, great. If not, cool. Whatever.
I mean, if someone has a club, you don't get to pick what they have there. You know, that's their prerogative. So, you know, I will say that the Shapeshifter thing lined up perfectly with my tour, and and that helped me get all that together. So we basically just, you know, hit a Shapeshifter, left the next day, and felt really good about that, you know. And for whatever reason, you know, I've never had as good a reception at a New York venue as I had that night at Shapeshifter.
I just want to interject also, like Mike's record is called Momentous. It's out on, what's the label called?
OA2 Records, Origin.
OA2. Where's the best place to get it? Where you get the biggest cut?
The biggest place, or the best cut for me, is at my website.
Okay.
Which is michaelwebstermusic.com.
michaelwebstermusic.com, Momentous. You're going to be listening to some cuts of us playing one of Mike's tunes, and if you want to hear another version of that tune with the full band and like a ton of other killing tunes, like check that Dan, you got any records to plug?
Oh,
Not necessarily leader records you're on. Like Dan plays with fucking everybody. Dan
doesn't record with anybody.
Yeah. Well, Dan, you got to have standards, man.
Yeah.
It's like you don't sell your reputation that cheap.
Well, what I did record on that I'm excited about is not going to be out for a while. But that would be Alan Eicher's record.
Alan Eicher.
Jostein Gulbrandsen played on it, who we were just talking about.
Jostein,
Nice.
shout out.
Thierry Arpino on drums. Really, really killed it.
Yeah.
And Shunzo Ono on trumpet on a tune or two. So, but you know, I don't want to get ahead of myself because there's a lot of work that we're still doing on it, especially because Alan is notorious for redoing everything that he plays.
Dude, be honest with me. Like, did any broken bottle fights break out in the mixing studio?
Mixing? Are you kidding? We're not even close to that yet.
That's killing.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
you can check Dan at. Do you have a website?
No, Dan does not have a website.
Facebook.com/Dan Asher, I think, right?
Post all kinds of silly shit on Facebook.
All right. Well, it is 7:06. We have a gig at 8, even though it's gonna run late. So we should probably hit. Guys, it's been so much fun. Like recording with you twice now. Happy to get you finally in the room for an interview.
It was the most interesting and only interview I've ever done.
Love it, dude.
Nice.
Respect. Respect. Big ups. All right, guys. Shed Science.